Welcome back to the Bearded Garage. All right, we got a interesting little video here today. Trying to do a Max Jack install, and it's gotten a little too cold out here. Picked up that Max Jack right around Christmas time. It's now about the second or third week of January. In the meantime, you can see running right above me here is an infrared. It's a Vantage 2 infrared radiant heater. Infrared, what does that actually mean? It means it actually heats the objects in the room. So I got a couple of big garage doors on this building, and I don't want the heat rushing out every time I pull a car in or out, or my wife goes to the grocery store, or whatever's going on. So the infrared will actually heat the objects, heats the concrete, heats the cars. So I have all this thermal mass to keep the room warm. And it's actually substantially nicer in a garage. Walk up to the table saw, I put my hand on the table saw, and table saw's warm, or at least it's 65, 70 degrees as opposed to 20 degrees. So picked up this Vantage 2. I got a great deal on them. I called a couple of friends, called a couple of dealers. You can pick these up for about $4,000 for a unit about this size, and that's installed. I was able to find a local guy. Buddy Chad had one, so I went down to Chad's house. I picked it up. Didn't work perfect, but it was pretty close. So hooked it up. Spent a week or so running all new natural gas lines all the way back to the house. Took a little while. Wired it in, put it in the thermostat, put it on an emergency switch. Problem is, it just wasn't getting hot. So downloaded the manual, and I walked through some troubleshooting. And my guess is, from what I found, there wasn't a lot of people walking through troubleshooting. How these things work, how to fix them when they break. Now, luckily, they're actually pretty easy. So I'm going to sew together probably 5-6 videos here, all into one big video on what I did to get this damn thing working, and I walked through pretty much everything. So I even went down to a friend's shop, and my friend's shop has almost the exact same model, about 5 years newer. So just to see, maybe I hooked it up wrong. All right, so the problem was very simple. The first part got warm, nothing else got hot, and nothing was hot enough to even heat the room, so it wasn't great. I couldn't have done this without William P. Fogarty. William P. Fogarty is a great company out of Syracuse, a lady named Terry. She runs it. She bought it from her father years and years ago. Terry is the best troubleshooting person I have ever met of any tech at any time. She'll walk you through every single little detail. Now, it was great. I finally got to meet Terry today. I put a new blower motor in the unit. And Terry helped me on the phone so much I brought her a bottle of wine. So thank you, Terry. Thanks for helping get this running. I'll sew all these videos together. You can take a look. I think troubleshooting wise, let me see what I got. So I actually going to show you how I tested a blower. I tested the gas, the feed, the gas valve, the tube pressure. So there's actually pressure sensors in the tube. So if it gets clogged up, it stops. I take the cap off the end, and then amazingly, I test for spiders, which actually turns out to be a funny story. So stay tuned. I'm going to sew all these together. Be back in just a minute, and I'll be sewn together to one continuous video. Thanks for showing up at Bearded Garage. Hopefully the next thing is getting back to working on some Porsches. All right, have a good one. Garage. You might have seen in one of my last episodes that I'm wearing quite a bit of equipment out here. It is cold. It's upstate New York, and it's January. Now, I tried to do a Max Jack install, but I can't deal with 20-degree weather on a regular basis. The steel's too cold out here. So you might have seen what I actually started doing was installing a radiant heater. So this is an infrared tube heater. It's about 30 feet long, or 30 feet of tube, plus the 3-4 feet that go out the side. Problem is, it gets warm, it just doesn't get hot. Now, in order to make this work, I had to run natural gas pipe all the way back to the house. Luckily, I kind of plumbed it into the building earlier in the year when it was still nice out. So it gets warm and it fires, but it doesn't seem to be working. So I got a couple things. I followed up with some tech support. I followed up with some of their support engineers, and I think I understand how these things work. So I'm going to walk you through a few things to learn about a radiant heater. Let me get a flashlight here. All right, so when you take the cover off the side of one of these units, there's two sides to them. This unit is the side that you're going to see the actual burner itself. So you see the burner here. You can see actually the back of this cavity. Where is it? There. You can actually see that's the small little thing against the wall. That's actually what ignites the flame. That's the burner there. And then this cavity, this is the blower. This cavity actually gets pressurized. So one of the ways your unit can actually fail is if this side cavity is not on. If you actually take a look, it says right there, cover must be installed before operating heater. And you can look down there on the table saw / makeshift workbench that there's gaskets all the way around the side of it. So it actually has to pressurize this compartment before it can dump the air. So now my unit seems to be pressurizing air, but one of the things that I actually tried here, as I put my hand up inside here, obviously power is off, right? As I can feel the impeller that spins, and they're supposed to be sharp. They're probably rusty at this point. So this unit's from the late 80s. I don't suspect it's got new fan at all. So all right, so that's how this side works. Let me take you to the other side and we'll see how that side works. Now this tube here is supposed to heat up to, oh geez, 500, 600, 700 degrees. What I hear is about 5, and then the lady from support told me about 7. So the inside of one of these things. So we got a couple of pieces in here. It's actually pretty damn simple, I think. One of the things I didn't mention on the other side, there's actually a switch. There's a switch that when you put the other panel on, it actually closes that door. If that switch isn't on, it actually won't allow this thing to even start in the first place. So I believe that's what these 2 wires are. They come across from the other side, and it's a switch. Now, once the blower on the other side, I believe, once the blower actually pressurizes that compartment, the air is actually put into this tube here. And then I think this is a vacuum switch that does nothing more than say, hey, it's up to the right level. It activates the switch. You hear a click. And then that tells this control module to fire for the gas and heat the unit up. And I think the control module actually kind of has a cycle. So first thing it'll do is, this is actually the heater that fires it. So think of a glow plug in a diesel engine. So I'm pretty sure that this unit here, the switch says, hey, we've got enough pressure. This unit tells the gas it tells the gas, okay, we're gonna get ready for the gas. It tells this thing to heat at the same time, and then it fires. So if it doesn't fire the first time, it actually will go back through and cycle a couple different times. The great part about this is if you look through all of these parts, it's not very complicated. In fact, it's ridiculously simple, which is what I'm really excited about, because there can't be many problems left. I'm now looking through every part I possibly all right, so that is the basics of how these things work. One of the next simple things you can test is I went outside, I pulled the end cap off, make sure there's nothing jammed inside. You can test the tubes internally, make sure there's nothing jammed inside. These could have garbage in them, I guess. So I might actually have to go back and do a little disassembly and reassembly to make sure everything I have is clean and good and known. I'm pretty sure I did that when I put it all back together, but we'll have to see. So that's why we have a delay presently on the Max Jack. So we'll get back to that here shortly. First, we need some heat. Unit up here, again, we've got a nice big radiant heater to keep the garage nice and warm. Unfortunately, it appears after some debugging that we don't have enough gas. So we're actually taking a 3/4 black pipe cap. We're actually going to tap it and thread it. And I believe what I need is a 5/16 bit. And then we're going to tap it to 1/827, or which is 1/8 NPT. So hopefully that's going to work. And then we're going to thread this piece into the end of it. We're going to hook that up to a new manometer we got and see what type of gas flow we have. So stay tuned. run a test, and for you it'll be a couple seconds, for me it'll be a little while. All right, be right back. All right, we finished drilling out that cap, and here is the end result that we got. So you can notice I got a little bit of tape on there, figuring this is not a tapered seam, but a threaded one here. One being a 5/16 drill bit we drilled out, and then we used a 1/8 27. So 1/8 27 was what they call MPT. So now I'll show you what we're going to do with it. In order to test, come on over here. Forget all the garbage, electrical, pipe threading, everything. You're gonna take a look. All right, so you see the gas line coming in here. We have our drop with a valve on it, and then we've got our flexible hose going over to our Vantage 2, to our radiant heater. So what we're actually gonna do is I wanna make sure that I have enough gas right there at the inlet where the yellow hose connects. So I'm gonna unscrew the cap on the bottom. First of all, I'm gonna turn the valve off. I'm gonna unscrew the cap at the bottom. I'm gonna plug our new little made cap with the threaded nipple in it. We're gonna connect up our new manometer, and we're gonna see what type of gas pressure we have at this unit. My suspicion is that this guy won't run because he doesn't have the gas flow that he needs. So be right back while I unscrew that. All right, we got our special doohickey hooked up there. It's our cap with a nipple. The hose goes down into our manometer. Turn our manometer on, and you can see right there, it is set to inches of H2O, which is inches of water column, I think. This is from the reading I've been doing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna test, I believe, at least from the manufacturer specs, the Vantage 2 radiant heater requires 4.5 inches of water column, and I have about 75 feet of 1-inch natural gas pipe underground and then in the house. And I suspect that the problem is the reading here is gonna be under about 4.5. So ready? Oh, if you can even turn a light on this thing, ready? Ooh, look at that, look at that. All right, ready? Here we go, turning the gas on. Well, that is not what I expected. All right, so there's probably something else wrong with this unit. So back to the basics. That's would have been as simple as getting another meter at that point, getting another electrical meter from the electrical company, but looks like that's looks like it's something else. Here to garage here, doing a little more debugging of a radiant tube heater. It is a natural gas infrared heater. I'm gonna take a look at a couple more things we can do. So one of the things that I did here today is I actually tapped into that drop valve right there, and I tested the gas coming in. This unit requires 4.5 water columns. So it's a measurement of pressure. So the next thing you can do here is inside of this unit, there's actually an inboard or incoming and outgoing gas you can tap into. So taking a look here, you can probably see that 4.5 millimeter Allen wrench. That Allen wrench actually, you can undo that and screw it in, similar to how we did it over there earlier in the video. I didn't test here. I actually tested there, figuring that's actually close enough. It's just outside the unit. I could test there, but I don't think I actually care, and I only have one nozzle. One of the ways you'll typically do it is this meter has actually a differential. You can actually plug one into one side of the gas and one into the other side of the gas valve. So what I actually am going to do here is I actually plugged it in here, which is the outgoing. So your gas regulator is actually supposed to do two things. One, it's supposed to regulate your gas, and two, you're supposed to have about 1-inch drop across the valve. So it doesn't want too much coming in. So the first thing when it regulates, mine is coming in about 6.8, which is way more than this thing needs. So it requires about 4.5. So what I'm expecting to see here is I'm going to turn this on. If the gas valve works properly, the unit's going to fire. And then I'll see about, it should see, well, it'll regulate it to 4.5, and then I'll see about a 1-inch drop across the valve itself. So I should see about 3.5 on the meter, somewhere in that 3.5 or 4, if the valve is working properly. If I see 1, then I know there's nothing coming out the other side. All right, so let's, all right, we just plug this unit in. All right, now we are going to, I have mine on an emergency switch. We are actually gonna fire her up. You can probably hear it fire now. All right, so as the unit starts to fire, you're gonna hear a couple things. I'm gonna reset my meter. Meter is reset, getting ready to go. So I think you can probably see it through this little window. I'm not sure if you can see. See, it's gonna be turning red. That's actually gonna fire the gas. Once the gas fires, I should see the gas flow across the meter. You want to do this while it's flowing so you can tell. Obviously, be careful when you're playing with anything gas or you have something like this open. So I'm not going to stick my head in there while I'm doing it. All right, so it sounds like the gas valve is open. It sounds like it's firing. And my meter is reading 3.8, which is, crap, that's right in line. So my gas valve is good. Alrighty, well, on to the next debugging piece. I guess I gotta figure out what the heck else is going on. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Darn. All right, we're back. We're actually gonna look at, this is again, debugging an infrared heater, troubleshooting an infrared heater, a radiant infrared heater. So probably something I should have tried a heck of a lot easier, a heck of a lot earlier before buying a manometer, testing the gas valves. You can actually test really easy stuff with very basic things. So I actually spoke with one of the best service techs I've ever talked to, helped me walk through and debug a whole bunch of stuff. Actually take some old weed whacker line, believe it or not. And what we're gonna do is, if you can see in here, there you can see in here, we are going to push the weed whacker line back into the gas regulator, but we're gonna do it very carefully. We're gonna do it softly, easily, and we're gonna twist it. So we're gonna put it in, twist it, pull it out, put it in, twist it, pull it out. So I'm gonna put it in and show you what I got. Oh, hold on. Oh, right at the front of the valve. See, this is kind of fun because I'm already starting to see, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, I'm starting to see spider webs. So spiders apparently really like the smell of natural gas. And what I'm starting to see is perhaps the simplest fix is sometimes the easiest thing and the cheapest thing to fix. So first thing you check, like in a computer guy, first thing you do, hey, my computer doesn't work. Is the monitor on? Do you have power? You know, check the really simple stuff first. Yeah, there are spiders living in your gas line. So I'm going to put one in here so you can actually see what I'm talking about. And then show you what I'm doing. All right, so got a little light on there. You can see I feed that line in just a little bit. This happens to be square and used line. So the idea is you want used weed whacker line, so it's got all frayed, crappy stuff on it, because there's not a lot of pressure in these, right? So 3.5 inches of water column or inches of H2O. That's like I don't know, 1/7, 1/8, 1/9 of a PSI. So it's not enough to blow this stuff out. So the gas is barely even flowing. That's 3 PSI. That's 30, 40, 50 times what we actually want. So all we're doing here is we're gonna slide that back in. We're gonna twist it around and pull it out. Think about trying to clean out your ears. You wanna do it kind of easy because you don't wanna jam the wax all the way up against your eardrum, right? So we're gonna do the same thing here and we're gonna try cleaning it out. I've already found, in the first time I inserted it, I already found some spider webs. So I kind of know this is going to be a problem. We'll see what else we get in here. All right. See, I'll try twisting it. Let's see if we can get anything else out of there. All right. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you could see when I did that. All right, so I've done that about 4 times now. The video stopped a minute ago, but I've been able to do it, put it in, pull it out. So I am now going to put the door back on this unit. Hopefully it's going to fire. So what this actually is hopefully proving is that my Gas valve is fine. There's good gas coming in. There's good gas going into the burner, but I think the tube is just clogged because it's a really small tube. It's literally about that diameter. So, and it's clogged up with spiderwebs, so it might just be blocking some of the flow. So, hey, stay tuned. We'll try firing it up, and I'll let you know if this is the problem. Hopefully this is the last firing of this unit. This is about the 15th test fire of what is a Vantage 2 infrared radiant heater. We have gone through pretty much everything, testing gas valves, testing pressure, everything. So we're gonna turn her on. Hopefully she'll fire. Hopefully you can see what I see, which is in that little glass hole. I think you should be able to see it. Where's the little glass hole right there? You should be able to see. Should turn red in just a minute. When it starts to turn red, right now it's building up pressure. The blower is actually pressurizing the compartment. Yep, see it's starting to turn a little bit pink. Once it turns pink, so the igniter comes on, and then you hear the gas fire in a second. Listen. There's the gas. And I can see gas flowing. That is good news. Hopefully this thing will be working now. It came on, it fired, and you can see the gas is now flaming blue, so that's good. So hopefully this thing will actually start getting warm. Not just warm, but hot. These tubes here are supposed to get to about 800 degrees and then heat the objects in the room. So hopefully all the metal can be warm so I can install the lift, so I can work on the cars, so it won't be freezing my ass off out here. All right, bye. All right, we're back in Bearded Garage. Hopefully this is the last troubleshooting of the Vantage 2 infrared heater we got here. Got it all up and running. If you saw the last couple of clips here, we clip them all together. We got it up and running. Looks like the heat is coming out. It's actually pumping out pretty good now. This here is hot enough. I can't get up close to it anymore. So originally we had some real heat problems. But what we're starting to find is it's not distributed to the other end. So I got a 30-foot pipe here, and I only have probably 15 feet of it that's hot. The other end is warm, but not enough to heat up the garage. So over by the lift, unfortunately, I don't have the heat I'm looking for. So called up the distributor today. I was able to run right out. They're only about 40 minutes down the road. We're gonna put a new new blower motor in. These are $250, unfortunately. But I think if you saw earlier, I had some. So the fins in mine were actually rusty and old. At least that's what they felt like when I put my fan up inside the blower motor. These are actually sharp enough to cut me. So I am going to be replacing this, and I'll show you the old one, and so you can see what the differences will be. Even though it still works, I'm going to actually put it on the shelf in case this one ever blows. And then, so real quick, stay tuned. I'll show you one more thing, and then hopefully we can get back to cars. All right, bye. Hey, we just replaced the blower motor on the Vantage 2 heater. This is the old motor. You can actually take a quick look. See, it's not shiny like the last one was. Still spins pretty nice, so the bearings are still pretty good, but from what I'm told, the air beaten at these fins for the last 30 years just makes it less efficient. So I'm not getting heat, an even heat distribution all the way down the pipe. Now, it's not going to be even. It should probably be 700 degrees there and 350, 400 degrees down there. But I'm getting more like 600 and 150, and that's too much of a variance for me. So I did get a deal on this thing. So I spent today. I ran out about 45 minutes or so. Picked up a blower motor and installed it. Took maybe 20 minutes, half hour to install. Real quick, nice and easy to install. Actually, you ground it. 3 screws on the back, plugs into the back of the unit. You just screw it in. You replace a gasket. It's a nasty foam gasket that comes with it to keep the air compression in the box, to keep it so it will compress the air. And then there's literally just positive and negative. So very easy to do. Real happy with it. It's actually a lot quieter now too. So looks like I got a heater in my garage now. So back to working on the lifts and working on the cars.